Hello everyone, and welcome to another Genshin lore video. Today, I'll be going over the lore presented in the Golden Troupe artifact set, as well as lore from a few other items. This artifact set tells us about the fall of Remuria and the events that led up to it. Also, this video does contain spoilers for the quests listed on screen now, so if you haven't done those, you have been warned. Anyways, let's move right on and get into the video. Long ago, Fontaine was ruled by the god known as Egeria. However, after using the primordial sea to turn Oceanids into humans, she was imprisoned by Celestia, causing Fontaine to enter a long period of chaos. Humanity would begin to covet things that belonged to Celestia, while also attempting to break away from their fates. As a result, Celestia punished these early civilizations with tsunamis and rainfall, causing multiple settlements to rise and fall over the years. This cycle would last so long that Gurabad and Sumeru would rise and fall before the cycle ended. Eventually though, the God-King Remus would arrive on Meropis. Riding his flying ship, the Fortuna, he created his new civilization of Remuria, bringing an end to the chaotic era of Fontaine. Thus, Fontaine would enter its golden era, with Remus teaching his people how to farm, build houses, and appreciate the arts and music. Music especially was a big part of his civilization, with Remus believing that so long as the harmonious symphony of prosperity continued to play, Remuria would last forever. Using the Fortuna, he would invite the other tribes of Fontaine to join Remuria. However, a few tribes didn't join, so Remus sent his armies to conquer the land these tribes held. One of these tribes was Remuria, which both Arrhenius and Cassiodor belonged to. During the conquest of Remuria, Cassiodor would meet the Harmost Boethius. The two would eventually become friends, and Cassiodor would defect to join Remuria. Over time, they became even closer, referring to each other as brothers. Later on, Cassiodor would become a Harmost of Remus himself. As a result, both of them would learn the secrets of the primordial sea and the danger it put Remuria in. At some point, Remus would travel to the Kingdom of Dragons. Here, he would learn of a prophecy that foretold the destruction of Remuria. Naturally, Remus wanted to figure out a way to protect his people, but his efforts caused him to descend into madness. He would use water from the primordial sea and mix it with an immortal stone, creating a golden ichor. He planned to use this ichor to dissolve the physical bodies of people, while containing their souls and minds. After this, he planned on putting this ichor into golems, which would allow his subjects to live forever. Remus also wanted to replace the entire primordial sea with this golden ichor. However, his ideas didn't exactly go to plan. As it turns out, the process of separating a soul from a body is incredibly painful. Anyone who is subjected to this procedure experienced unbearable agony, and their souls would be shattered. As a result, the ichor would be dyed black, losing its harmony and wisdom. Much like with the God King himself, only chaos and madness remained. Still, even though Remus went mad, Boethius still followed his orders. His brother Cassiodor, however, wasn't so sure they were doing the right thing. Seeing his compassion for those they called barbarians, Boethius would yell at Cassiodor, calling him weak. At this moment, the golden era of Fontaine would come to an end, and an era of war and rebellion would take its place. Under Remus's orders, Boethius would hunt down any barbarians or lockfolk. It is said that wherever Boethius went, the aqueducts of Remuria would be built, and the Oceanids would disappear without a trace. Eventually, both Arrhenius and the Dragon King Scylla decided to rebel against Remuria, though they went about it in different ways. Arrhenius was a follower of Egeria, so her plan was to try and free Egeria from her primeval prison. She searched for an object known as the Pure Grail, which she believed could free her, but she never found it. On the other hand, Scylla took a much more direct approach. He gathered an army of barbarians and bishops and headed straight for Capitolium, the capital of Remuria. Scylla's army fought against the armies of Remuria, leading to a brutal conflict that threatened to destroy Remuria entirely. All of this caused Remus to awake from his dream, just in time to see Remuria being destroyed. Realizing his wrongdoings, he gave a final order to try and save his empire. However, it would be too late. Boethius would see Remus's order as a betrayal, and rallied Remuria's armies to steal the Golden Ichor. After obtaining it, he would use it to seal Scylla underneath the tallest tower of Remuria. Still, this didn't save Remuria from utter destruction. Remuria, along with Remus, Scylla, Boethius, and all its people, would be swept away into the abyss. Over time, the Golden Ichor itself would be completely corroded by the Primordial Sea. After the fall of Remuria, Fontaine would return to an era of chaos and war. Soon though, Celestia would release Egeria from her prison, calling upon her to rule Fontaine once again. Irenaeus would soon meet with Egeria, asking her how they could stop the prophecy that threatened to destroy Fontaine. However, the answer Egeria gave shook Irenaeus' faith. She would throw her sword into a lake 3 times, then disappear over the horizon, never to be seen again. The sword that she threw was actually Farina's signature weapon, Splendor of Tranquil Waters, otherwise known as Hauteclair. As for Cassiodor, his fate is left unclear. However, we do know that his legacy would be carried on through his title, Marchose Hunter, with the Marchose Phantom in Fontaine today. I actually made an entire video on the Marchose Hunter artifact set earlier this week, so if you haven't seen it, you should check it out. Now, many of the Remurians and bishops who ended up in the Abyss survived long after Remuria fell. After years of fighting, a lone Remurian archer and a lone bishop made peace, finally ending their conflict. As for Scylla, his fate is also left unclear, but in my opinion, he likely passed away. While this isn't confirmed, Scylla may have been the previous Hydro Dragon sovereign. After all, he was known as a Dragon King, and Remus learned of the Primordial Sea after his visit to the Kingdom of Dragons. Since the Dragon of Water has control over the Primordial Sea, it would make sense for Scylla to know about it. If Scylla was the Hydro Dragon sovereign, then he would have to be dead, as the next incarnation currently resides in Fontaine as Neuvillette. Remus's fate is left unclear as well, so perhaps if we get the chance to travel down to the ruins of Remuria, we could meet with him or at least learn more about him. Anyways, that's pretty much it for the lore presented in the Golden Troupe artifact set. I really enjoyed the lore about Remuria, so I really hope we'll be able to visit Remuria at some point in the future. If you want to hear my speculations about Remuria and what I think we could see down there, I do have a video all about that. Also, if you want to hear more about some of the topics I mentioned in this video, I recommend checking out my videos about Egeria and Focalors, the 7 Wonders of Fontaine and East Fontaine, and Marchose Hunter. I also plan on making videos on the other Fontaine artifact sets soon as well, those being Song of Days Past and Nighttime Whispers in the Echoing Woods. Either way, I would love to hear what other bits of lore you'd like me to cover in the comments below as well. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Sources and further readings are also in the description if you want to check them out. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you all in the next video.